Hello friends, in this video I'm gonna talk about what Kubernetes is and I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible for absolute beginners. So as per the definition, Kubernetes is a container orchestration tool. Now what do we mean by a container orchestration tool? Basically the world has moved from monolithic applications to microservices architectures, right? Now in microservices, what happens is a big application is basically broken down into many small microservices, where each microservice is responsible for a very small task. And each microservice, each this small unit of work is being run inside a container. In very simple terms, you can think of every container like a single process. It's just that container, it contains all the dependencies that it has on the operating system, libraries, and all that stuff, right? It contains everything within it. And the advantage of that is that you can run it on any platform, be it a virtual machine, be it a physical hardware, any operating system, cloud environment. It's very easy to run containers in any environment once you create them, right? So from the application development point of view, it does not change anything. You just create a container once and then you can run it in any environment because all the dependencies that it needs in order to run, they are contained within that unit, within that module, right? Now, where does Kubernetes come into picture in all this? So, when you have a lot of such containers, you need something which can basically help you orchestrate all those containers. All those containers need to be run in, a number of machines. And Kubernetes is basically something that manages all those containers, that helps you run all those containers in distributed environments, right? As I said, it supports all physical, virtual, and hybrid environments. It's actually inspired by Google's experience with containers. It actually started in Google. It's an open source technology. It's written completely in Go. Now, why do we need Kubernetes? So by now we know that it's a container orchestrator, but why do we need it? See, the thing is, let's say you only have to run one container, then you don't need any help, right? You can simply go and run that container in any environment because you don't need any management. It's like a single process for you. If it dies, you can restart it. You can write a simple script which can restart it. But when you are talking about hundreds or thousands of such containers, then how do you handle a lot of scenarios that arise because of the volume and complexity of all those containers? Now you'll have multiple distributed applications running in multiple nodes at once. You'll have hundreds of machines on which thousands of containers will be running. How are you going to make sure that all your containers are available all the time? What if some containers die? You need some way of restarting them, some way of making sure that they are always available. You need some way of making sure that you are able to run multiple, let's say, instances of a single container, so that if one container dies, then the another is available for serving your application, right? So all those challenges of high availability, scalability, you know, they are very difficult to manage with, let's say, scripting or manually. It's a nightmare. So that is where we need a technology like Kubernetes, which can come in and manage all those containers for you. So Kubernetes does not help you in writing your application logic. You will have to write your application logic. You will have to come up with your container definitions and container designs. But what Kubernetes does is, once you are ready with your application development, then Kubernetes helps you deploy that application, manage that application in production very easily. What are the main features or functions of Kubernetes? At a very high level, Kubernetes is a resource manager, right? Now you have hundreds of machines, you have X amount of memory, Y amount of cores, and all that stuff. Kubernetes is going to be the manager for all those resources. Kubernetes will know on which node how many resources are available, so that whenever, let's say, you are going to deploy an application which contains of multiple containers, Kubernetes is going to figure out, okay, which nodes have free resources, on which nodes it can go and run those containers. And then if any of those containers die, it will help you recover from those failures. It will make sure that all those containers are available all the time. It will help you scale your application because you can now define using Kubernetes that how many instances of a particular container of a particular application you want to run, and Kubernetes is going to take care of that. There are a lot of other things that Kubernetes does, which we are going to talk about in upcoming videos. But this video was supposed to be a very, very high level introduction of what Kubernetes is. So Kubernetes is a resource manager, a container orchestrator, which helps in high availability, scalability, and a lot of other features related to the orchestration of your containers. See you in the next lecture, which is on Kubernetes architecture. Thank you very much.